fire. And blood.
Hey guys, Pete here. I was not expecting a teaser for House of the Dragon to come out in the middle of the afternoon my time when literally nothing has ever come out before, but it's here and this looks pretty amazing. This idea always gets thrown out there whether people care about Game of Thrones anymore or not. For as popular as it was, and as generally unpopular as the final season turned out to be, it always comes up whether people will have a desire to revisit Westeros or not. Myself, I'm still anxiously anticipating the next book, The Winds of Winter. I'll read that as soon as it comes out, but I kind of got burned out with the waiting and hadn't really been drawn to anything short of its release until recently. Shooting has been underway for a while on House of the Dragon, and there have been a lot of leaked set photos popping up, and I do find myself getting sucked into looking at those. It was always so much fun to look at those when Game of Thrones was filming and try to speculate on what was coming next, and while it isn't quite the same, old habits do die hard. And when you add a teaser on top of that, I find myself completely paying attention again. Before I get into the teaser, I'll give you a really quick overview of what to expect from House of the Dragon. It's taken from the fictional history of the Targaryen family called Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. The show will be focusing on the civil war of succession known as the Dance of the Dragons that happened after King Viserys I died. He had named his only surviving daughter from his first marriage, Rhaenyra, as his successor before remarrying and having more children with Alicent Hightower. After his death, both sides, known as the Greens and the Blacks, could make a credible claim to put their favored successor on the Iron Throne. Different factions backed them for political reasons, and things escalated until war broke out. It's called the Dance of the Dragons because this all happened 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones, when the family still had a lot of living dragons. The other name given to this period is the Death of the Dragons because by the end of it, there are a lot of casualties. As I mentioned, the trailer looks fantastic. We get a look at the major players on both sides, some Valyrian steel blades, and we get our first look at the Velaryons, which is another family with the blood of old Valyria, who didn't play a huge role during the Game of Thrones timeline. One of the first things that pops out is this new imagining of the Iron Throne. It still looks like the same one they used in Game of Thrones, but they added to it to make it look more like it was imagined in the books. I guess they can say that later on it was changed and that's how you get the consistency between the two shows. It's missing any live action scenes with dragons, but there is this one shot where it's probably the skull of Balerion the Black Dread. We see Rhaenyra at different ages in her life. When she was younger, when her father was still alive, and she was known as the Realm's Delight. They cast two different actors, Emma Darcy and Millie Alcock, to play the role, so it's been known that there would be multiple timelines involved. Both appear in the teaser depicting the character at different ages. During the dance, she was married to her uncle Daemon Targaryen, played by Matt Smith, who is in several scenes in this trailer, including this really nice looking tourney shot where it looks like he's fighting Kristen Cole. The Targaryen armor here looks fantastic, and you get a pretty good look at his Valyrian steel blade Dark Sister, which has wings and a dragon egg pommel. You even catch a quick glimpse of a Stark banner in a different tourney scene, which is a nice touch. And based on their shields, the jousters here look like they're from House Tarly for sure, and then maybe House Cole if you were wondering. I mentioned that we get our first looks at House Velaryon. We see Corlys, who is known as the Sea Snake. He's an important character with a great backstory. And a group shot where it looks like they're approaching the wedding where Rhaenyra and Laenor Velaryon will be married. On the green side of things, we see a glimpse of Otto Hightower as the Hand of the King. He served under Viserys. And then later we see his daughter Alicent running with a dagger in her hand, and it looks like it's that same cat's paw dagger that showed up in the final season of Game of Thrones. So it looks like it plays an important role in both series. I'm guessing that this comes after one of her sons loses his eye, but there's not a lot to go off of right here. There's a quick shot of King Viserys on the throne holding Blackfire, and a shot of Mysaria, who's connected to Daemon and even serves as his mistress of whisperers at one point. There's a fight inside what looks like one of House Velaryon's castles, and so yeah, there's a little bit of everything. And just one more time, it looks great and it's really sparked my interest. The costumes are up to the level you'd hope for, and at least in this edited footage, the wigs don't look that bad to me. Although they're not the first thing I noticed, so maybe I'm not the best judge. There's no release date yet, but we know it won't be coming out until next year. No major revelations in what they show. It's still unclear how the timelines are going to work and exactly how much time they'll be covering in this first season. The Iron Throne, Cat's Paw Dagger, House Sigils, and Valyrian Steel Blades. That feeling is coming back, and I'm excited to hear what people have to say about this. I think that's a good place to leave it, but let me know what you think in the comments and what you're hoping to see. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.